Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today is Vazgen Karapetyan. He is the Deputy Director of the Eurasia Partnership Foundation in Armenia. Vazgen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. The reason why we asked you to talk with us today is to look back on something close to an adventure. It was called the media bus tour, but it wasn't just a bus tour for media. It was a bus tour for Armenian and Turkish journalists, filmmakers, bloggers. Tell me, if you will, about the program.
Sure. So the Armenia Turkey Media Bus Tour is part of a bigger program which is called Support to the Armenia Turkey Normalization Process. The program is supported, financially supported by European Union through their stability instrument. It started in January this year, 2014, and it's implemented by a consortium of 8 organizations, 4 Armenian, 4 Turkey-based. In Armenia, the consortium members are Civillitas Foundation, Eurasia Partnership Foundation, Regional Studies Center, and Public Journalism Club. In Turkey, the consortium comprises Hrant Foundation, Anadolu Kultur, Helsinki Citizens Assembly, and Ankara-based TEPAF. It's a think tank, independent think tank. Media Bus, each of these 8 consortium members has a set of predefined sub-projects as part of the bigger project. And Eurasia, the Media Bus Tour is one of the sub-projects of Eurasia Partnership Foundation. Actually, this is the 3rd time we are organizing or participate in organizing the Armenia Turkey Media Bus Tour for Armenian and Turkish journalists and bloggers. The first one was organized in 2011, then by Internews Armenia. And we, of course, Eurasia, of course, supported it as much as possible at that time. The second time, we organized it ourselves in 2012 as part of our then USAID supported Armenia-Turkey support to Armenia-Turkey rapprochement program. And this is the 3rd time, actually. And each time we're talking about a group of 10 Armenian and 10 Turkish journalists and bloggers. So now we have a group of about 55, 60
who have taken
people,
part over the 3
people who are the alumni, so to say, of this program. And of course, spending 2 weeks on a bus with the same group of people, it changes your perspective, your attitude to the other side. We have great, I mean, you can follow, you can witness the dynamic, group dynamic, how the relations between the participants develop, not only between the groups, between the national groups, but also within the national groups, because participants very often do not know each other. Most of them, even, I mean, the Armenian participants didn't know each other mostly, and the Turkish participants too. But then, in a day or 2 after jointly visiting sites in Turkey, in Armenia, or wherever, you see that a kind of a friendship develops within the group. And now, with this particular, the 3rd Media Bus Tour group, we have a very cohesive, so to say, a very strong friendship that developed among these people. We established a special Facebook page for the Media Bus Tours that started in 2011, and now this new group joined that Facebook group. And if you follow the conversations and they share pictures, they share their articles on that Facebook page, and the group already produced more than 30 articles to their, I mean, they
in their own countries,
their own countries, and these articles or video reports are published or broadcasted by their home media. So it's, I would say that it was a very productive media bus tour this time.
It's interesting. Which cities did you visit? I mean, so about 20 people for 2 weeks. Half the time they are in Turkey, then they travel to Armenia. So some of the cities that you visited, and was there a reason to go to those specific cities?
Sure. The first 2 bus tours covered in Turkey, covered mostly the eastern part of Turkey, so-called historical Armenia. They visited that time in 2011 and 2012, visited Ani, Kars, Ardahan, Van, Diyarbakir, etc. That's kind of that section of Turkey, and of course Armenian journalists would then write a lot of articles about history, about the state, the shape of Armenian monuments in that part of Turkey, etc., etc. But this time we wanted to cover another part of Turkey, more developed western part of Turkey, so that Armenian journalists, first of all, and then their audience in Armenia could see through their eyes a more developed Turkey, could see Turkey as a developed country industrially and economically, not necessarily connecting their reports to the issue of painful Armenia-Turkey relations, although of course it's inevitable, although of course in any report you can see that journalists, both Turkish and Armenian journalists, make references to the historical past and the painful pages of our common history, but nonetheless we wanted to show another Turkey to this particular group of journalists, and we covered this time Istanbul, Izmir, Fethiye, Antalya, Adana, Cappadocia, and Ankara.
But even there are traces of Armenian.
Sure,
I mean, you cannot escape it in any place that you go.
We had a number of interesting meetings in those cities. So for example, in Ankara, the group met with the head of the Association of Progressive Journalists of Turkey. The association, by the way, unites more than 6,000 journalists in Turkey. And that person, his name, I forgot his name, but nonetheless, he recently discovered that his mother is Armenian, was Armenian, and he wrote a book about that. And it was he went through a very difficult psychological process when his mother disclosed her Armenianness, and he wrote a book about that, and he was, a lot of his friends and colleagues in Turkey praised him for that, for the courage, where he talked about his mother's history, his mother's life, but then unfortunately part of his family, his relatives were very critical about that book, and they demanded that he removed the name, the word Armenian from the book, etc., etc. So the person, he's a famous journalist in Turkey, and he was kind of uncomfortable about.
Sure. Vazgen, how do you choose the people who participate? You know, we understand that Turkey is a very diverse country. There are many different segments of society who have very different opinions. We do come across Turks who do want their government to recognize the Armenian genocide, who are very proactive in that sense, and then we find the other end of the spectrum. So, for example, it's interesting, how did you choose the Turkish journalists, bloggers? Were they ones who had written in line with Turkish government policy of denial, or were they the more progressive Turks, or you didn't look at that?
In fact, we made an open announcement both in Armenia and in Turkey. In Turkey, the process was facilitated by Hrant Dink Foundation, our colleagues there, and we received a number of applications, and one of the criteria of selection was some past or current interest in the topic. So the journalist or the blogger applicant should have like justify the need or prove that he or she is in the topic and has written an article or produced any material about the topic, etc. So that was kind of a selection, but we didn't have a chance to interview the applicants before the tour. We just had some conversation or communication over email to see that the person is more or less fits the context, and we were lucky this time, both from Armenia and from Turkey. We received or hosted a very talented, very friendly group of people. Of course, among the Turkish participants, there are people who were not, who did share the opinion of the government, their own government on the issue. On the Armenian genocide issue, etc. But these people, even these people, were open, and they, when in Armenia, when in Yerevan, they visited the Genocide Museum, and they also covered that topic in their reports, objectively covered, and we do understand their point of view, and it was a balanced coverage.
Sure, sure. Well, Vazgen, I think that is the key to any kind of reconciliation, is dialogue and understanding one another, each other's history and culture and even common history. So thank you very much for telling and explaining to us about this initiative. And I suspect that it will continue in the coming years because it seems to have positive results.
We do hope that it will continue if we have funding for the next year or coming years, because I do believe I'm in this area, Armenia-Turkey relations, since 2006, 2007, and the media bus tour is one of the most effective tools to build linkages, to build relations between people who would basically never think about talking to the other side, so to say. And we're very happy and proud that we have this initiative in our portfolio.
Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
I'd like to remind our viewers that my guest was Vazgen Karapetyan, the Deputy Director of the Eurasia Partnership Foundation in Armenia. Stay with CivilNet.